Mark chapter 3 says this: "One time Jesus entered a home, and the crowds began to gather again. Soon he and his disciples couldn't even find time to eat. When his family heard what was happening, they tried to take him away. 'He's out of his mind,' they said. But the teachers of religious law who had arrived from Jerusalem said, 'He's possessed by Satan, the prince of demons. That's where he gets the power to cast out demons.' Jesus called them over and responded with an illustration. 'How can Satan cast out Satan?' He asked, 'The kingdom divided by civil war will collapse. Similarly, a family splintered by feuding will fall apart.' Another way of describing this is a house divided can't stand. And if Satan is divided and he fights against himself, how can he stand? He would never survive. Let me illustrate this further. Who is powerful enough to enter the house of a strong man like Satan and plunder his goods? Only someone who is stronger, someone who could tie him up and then plunder his goods. I tell you the truth, all sin and blasphemy can be forgiven, but anyone who blasphemes the Holy Spirit will never have forgiveness. This is a sin with eternal consequences." He told them this because they were saying, "He's possessed by an evil spirit." So first, I want to address the hot topic. Everyone talks about this. What is the sin that's unforgivable? It's the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Now, blasphemy of the Spirit is something that happens only when your heart is super hardened against God, where there's a place you hit when you keep rejecting Christ that it's actually impossible for you to believe because you've gone too far. Now think about this though. The Apostle Paul was someone who murdered Christians for a living. That was his job, yet he was saved. Think about David. He committed murder and adultery, yet he repented and he was saved. Think about Jonah. He ran from God, yet he was saved. Think about Samson. He was sleeping around, yet he repented and turned back to God. So anyone who turns back to God can be saved. There's no sin you can do that's so far. But if you blaspheme the Spirit, what that is, it's simply rejecting what Christ has done on the cross over and over and over again. The more you hear the gospel, the more you hear about what Jesus did for you, and the harder your heart gets, it can actually reach a point where it's so hard, it's like a stone, that it's basically impossible to be forgiven. To blaspheme the Spirit, the people, they were attributing Jesus' works, Jesus' miracles to Satan. They were so hardened that they saw the power of God and said that's the power of Satan. So Jesus gives an analogy. Satan can't cast out Satan. A house divided can't stand. So he was showing that the miracles that he did was from the power of the Father, not from Satan. It takes someone to bind up the strong man to steal his goods, and that strong man is the truth. When the truth comes in, and when the love of God and the power of God comes in, it destroys the lie. And Jesus is saying, I'm the truth, I'm the power, I'm able to bind up Satan, the strong man, and conquer the enemy. Jesus had power over all the enemy, over all of Satan, because he was the Son of God.